From fighting fires to saving lives, firefighters have one of the toughest jobs in the world. But what does it take to become one?
Good morning.
Austin, welcome to the Phoenix Fire Training Academy.
Thank you.
This week you'll be exposed to some of the most intense training a human can go through. Live fire conditions of over 2,000 degrees, heights of over 100 feet, and you'll have some of the most prestigious instructors in the fire service.
That was the hardest thing I've ever done.
Fire is unpredictable. It destroys everything in its path. One wrong move could mean serious consequences. We got a lot to cover, so let's go.
My training at the academy begins with putting on the suit and doing basic tasks to get used to the feeling of breathing with the mask on.
It gets really claustrophobic. It feels like the world is closing in on you, and it feels like your oxygen is limited.
We're going to climb 5 flights of the tower. We're going to do that 3 times so we can get comfortable breathing air and working in our turnouts.
One thing that most people don't realize is that once you're in your turnout gear, whether you're climbing stairs, dragging victims out of a burning building, or just trying to save your own life, all of these become nearly impossible tasks given the limited amount of oxygen that you have.
How long does it take this air to run out?
Depends on how fast you breathe, but I would say the average person, their vital alert starts going off at 12 minutes, they're out of air in about 20 minutes.
Definitely some claustrophobia, a little bit of dizziness.
We kept going up and down the stairs for another 10 minutes before I got really dizzy and needed to stop.
I need a minute.
Yeah, this is me thinking, what did I get myself into? There is no way I could be ready to complete the final mission in such a short time. Well, too late to quit now. Our next stop, the attic.
This is the attic. Austin, fire always spreads up. This is going to be difficult for you because of your size.
Oh, great.
But the newest firefighter is always the person who gets into the attic, crawls around, looks for hot spots, fire extension, any type of exposed wires or hazard.
Just when this suit is closed in and kind of restricts your breathing a little bit, we're pushing it further and we're putting it in an enclosed space.
Yep, that's correct.
Keep in mind that we haven't even started my training yet, which is coming up next. For now, I'm still just getting used to breathing air and moving around in my turnouts.
Really small in here.
It takes time because everything we wear is heavy. Everything that we wear is constrictive. You lose the ability to feel your fingers, and at the same time, you got to be able to stay calm, control your heart rate so you don't consume all of your air.
You see, the thing about fighting fires is that in order to do that, you have to get to the fire in the first place.
Smells a little different in there.
And a lot of the time, that's easier said than done.
Having firefighters of different shapes and sizes is important. Where firefighter brewer might be more successful in the attic, first we got to make access to the attic. And that's what this is going to be right here.
All right.
We're going to simulate pulling ceiling so that we can make access into the attic and further extinguish the fires.
So for the next hour, we continued going through different exercises, simulating various real-life scenarios.
Austin, you're definitely a newbie, but you're going to get better over time.
Well, thank you.
Whether that be pulling ceiling, connecting to a fire hydrant on the street, or raising and lowering a ladder. A lot of the time, getting to the actual fire itself is a full workout.
To make a good firefighter, you need 3 things. First thing is you need humility. You're just one person. It's a big fire department. Your job is important, but the entire fire department, the entire community is more important than you. The second thing is you need work ethic. You need to be willing to show up, to work hard every day when people are watching, when no one's watching. For 24 hours, be dedicated to providing work and service to other people. And number 3 is integrity. You gotta be trustworthy, you gotta be honest. People hand you their baby because their baby has something wrong with them. You're entrusted with people's property, you're entrusted with their pets. Being trustworthy and having integrity is of the utmost importance.
Man, that's tough.
From the time you get the call, Austin, this is a full intensity workout, anywhere from 10 minutes to an hour. Your heart rate's probably going 170 beats a minute. All of your gear on, everything you've got, because somebody's life is on the line. It's everything in the world they care about is in your hands. You gotta be able to do this at any time. Whenever the tone goes off, you answer the bell.
I'm exhausted out here. It's 90 plus degrees. It's probably 115 inside of this fire suit. First day, we're just getting started.
For 24 hours, you are on call, and at any given time, you could be thrown into the middle of an emergency. It could be anything from a car wreck to a building on fire to a drowning to any type of medical emergency. You never know what's going to happen next. Austen, in the fire service, nothing is done by yourself. You always work in a team. Today, this is your engine company. We're gonna put you through a skills course. You're gonna have 7 functional firefighting events. We're gonna demonstrate each one for you, and then you're gonna perform all 7 in under 15 minutes on 1 bottle of air.
For the next hour, we briefly went over each of the events in the skills course. However, in the real world, you don't actually know what your assignment is until you receive it. So in an actual fire scene, you may be expected to do only one of those, or all of them.
So we got 15 minutes to do this whole thing. This is really spread out. I mean, we started way over there, and then we went way over to the junkyard, and we're gonna be clicked in, right?
Yeah, so your 15 minutes might be less depending on your air consumption.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to be able to control your breathing and your heart rate in addition to hustling around and completing each event.
So I have to do this before my bottle of air runs out?
Correct.
And then what if it runs out?
Then you can't breathe, then you die.
Okay.
Wow, that's a bit dramatic.
He just... Okay, let's do that one more time. So what happens if I run out of air?
You won't be able to breathe, Austen.
Sorry, the way he used my name was funny.
It's kind of a good name, dude. I mean, it's spelled wrong, but it's a decent name.
What happens if I don't have underwear on?
Austen, you won't be able to breathe.
I gotta get the googlies out. Okay, now I'm straight. What happens if my bottle runs out?
You won't be able to breathe.
How's that?
That was perfect.
I know. All right, we're ready.
Okay. Before we get started, I got one question for you.
What's that?
Which event are you most nervous for?
Probably the tire pull. It's when you're the most active and you're pulling a lot of weight. And I've done sled pulls before and they suck.
No one's gonna hurt.
Thanks for that reinforcement.
Command Engine 1, we're going to report to fire on the 5th floor. Need you to take high-rise packs to the 5th floor. Check for extension. Prepare for fire attack.
Austen, we got reports of a fire on the 5th floor.
Copy.
Every event that we do in the skills course is a functional event that firefighters must be able to do daily. You have to do it with all your gear on because you have to get comfortable with the weight, with breathing air. You have to understand how to control your breathing, how to manage your air. You have to work as a team. You need to be able to keep your head up. You need to be able to listen to direction. You need to be able to complete a task.
We went to the 5th floor, check for extension. We're ready for reassignment.
I need you to go ahead and go do vertical ventilation at the axe prop.
And all of those things, all those events within a skills course have to be done without you running out of air. Because if you don't have air, you cannot work inside of a fire.
We completed vertical ventilation, we're ready for reassignment.
Need you to go check for extension and pull the ceiling.
So even though we gave Austen 15 minutes, the real test is how you consume your air, how many breaths you have left in your tank.
We're not even halfway through the skills course, and I'm already beyond exhausted. All I want to do is take a deep breath of air, but I can't even do that. It's over 100 degrees inside the suit, and there's not a single dry spot left on my clothes. But I can't quit. I keep picturing a victim trapped on the other side of this wall with less than a few seconds of air left. I simply must pull the ceiling down.
We completed pulling ceiling at the pipe top, we're ready for reassignment.
We've got reports of patients trapped. We need you to go to perform manual extrication.
Manual extrication. One of the many things that firefighters do is especially dangerous because a stalled or burning vehicle could explode at any time, instantly taking the lives of those in and around it. Every single second counts, and every breath of air could be your last.
Probably one of the most frequent calls that we see every single day are motor vehicle accidents. Sometimes because of the accident, people are trapped inside of a vehicle. Sometimes the vehicle has batteries or airbags or fuel leaks. Because of that, there's a ton of different hazards that are involved in extricating a patient, and time is of the essence. The faster you can get the patient out, the sooner you can get them to a hospital.
We extricated the patients, we're ready for reassignment.
The victim's trapped on the 2nd floor of the A building. Make your way to the A building, raise ladders to the 2nd floor.
If I'm being honest, the next couple of assignments were a complete blur for me. The combination of physical exhaustion, limited air, and extreme heat forced my mind to shut off. I was not thinking. I was just doing what I knew I had to do.
When I get that call, regardless of what the call is, I fall back on my training. I'm very confident in my equipment. I know what my role is. I know what the expectation is. I also have highly trained firefighters with me, and we're all on the same page. And when everybody does their part, we have really good outcomes.
One more, Austen.
And that is the sound of my air bottle being low on air.
Hey, you still got a little bit of air left. We got 2 events. Let's try to finish.
Set me up for failure.
This is what it all comes down to in the end. That moment when the rubber meets the road, when you quite literally have nothing left in the tank, yet you're the one that people rely on. What do? Do you keep going or do you quit? It's the moment where the line between rescuer and rescuee starts to blur.
What do you got?
Austen, this is your last event.
As we walked past the building that was soon going to be set on fire for my final challenge, I couldn't help but wonder, how does one person do this? The answer was right in front of me. They don't. As I looked around at everyone else pulling their own weight, it was clear that this is very much a synchronized team effort. One person cannot do this on their own. It takes a team, a great team, and together we can do anything.
Every day is a new day with new challenges. I've got all the best training and equipment to be successful, and I've got some of the best firefighters that are alongside me.
All right, now backwards. Austen, once your blast stops vibrating, you'll have about 5 breaths left, okay? Ready?
In the real world, we don't work till we have 6 breaths of air left. We monitor our air, we work together as a team, and we exit the hazard zone before we get that low on air. But if you found yourself and you had 6 breaths of air left, you better be really good and strong to get yourself out. I had a day where we ran 32 calls in 24 hours. And some of those calls were legitimate medical emergencies. You're a little bit worn out the next day, but you got that satisfaction of a hard day's worth of work and earning your paycheck.
It doesn't matter how tired you are, because one thing you'll never hear a firefighter say is, "I'm sorry, I couldn't save your son. I was too tired."
14:56. 9. You finished it, buddy. And you got about 150 psi left of air, so you got about 6 breaths left.
That was the hardest thing I've ever done.
It only gets harder from here.
I'm pretty impressed. Austen finished with 4 seconds left, and he still had about 6 breaths left in his bottle. He was very close to being out of air and out of time.
All right, I've got to pee, like really bad.
Austen, next event's gonna be the hose stream management. The expectation is 2 minutes of being able to flow the water from the hose, standing, kneeling, and moving throughout an area. Firefighter Peters will be your instructor.
He looks like he knows how to manage his hose.
That's right. Here's some gloves for you.
Are these sweaty?
Should be.
Ooh. Oh, that's a lot of pressure. So I'm 240 pounds. If I go up on 1 foot, this hose is pushing me backwards.
We can do that same position from the hip on a knee. All we'll do is just drop that knee, and this would be used if we're in a fire. If we get hot, can't see, or we can see below a smoke line, this is when we'd be dropping into that position.
This is a little easier.
Austen, you ready for the 2-minute challenge?
I'm ready for it.
Continuous water flowing out of the 2-inch line.
This is different from the 2-minute challenge that anyways.
Ready, go.
Water from a fire hose exerts roughly 200 pounds of force onto the person holding it, so I need to stay concentrated on this hose or I'll lose hold of it.
Takes a lot of energy.
All right, let's drop to a knee. Keep that on your hip, or we'll lose it there.
If I were to drop the hose, it would go flying, and it could do some major damage to myself or those around me.
We've got different size hoses for different size fires. The hose can weigh anywhere from 50 to a couple 100 pounds, and you're dragging that through obstacles, through someone's house, through a business, and then the pressure of the hose stream. As soon as you open up the hose line, you've got pressure coming into your body.
Ah, God, burns the shoulders.
All right, let's go back to a knee.
30 seconds left, Austen. Time. 2 minutes, Austen. You had a little bit of issues with kinking of the hose, but good job moving through the positions, following direction.
Thank you. Man, that was the hardest thing I've done all day. At least I got a good pump.
The last thing left to learn before I could face the fire was hose line management, because in real life, you won't fight many fires in an empty parking lot.
Good job, Austen. A lot of help from your firefighter, but
Yeah, I appreciate that.
together as a team, you guys were successful.
With that out of the way, I was finally ready to face one of Mother Nature's deadliest weapons, real, live fire.
So we're going to watch the fire from the very beginning of it. And to watch it grow, we're going to pay attention to the fire behavior, the fire dynamic.
I've never been so close to a fire before. When it gets hot, you get claustrophobia in your mask.
In the training environment, we're only burning straw and pallets. In a real house, you're burning carpet, curtains, furniture. It's probably a lot bigger too. If this building was made out of wood, we'd have a significant fire right now.
Being able to understand fire, to understand how it grows, how it progresses, what the smoke is telling you, that helps you make your size up, helps you figure out where the fire is going, where you need to go to cut it off, how you can get water on it, how you can extinguish the fire.
It's really hot right here. Really hot. Like really hot. So if we're to come over here, right, and you're to lay down, you can see the smoke and the layering of it. Yeah.
These are the moments where you just got to push through it mentally. When you're in the water, you can hold your breath 3 or 4 minutes. When you're in heat, it takes 5 to 10 seconds for you to be gone, especially at 1,000+ degrees. And you really have to stay okay, because if your mind shifts and you panic, it's not gonna be good.
But after all that, it was now time to put it all into practice.
In this building, you will have the opportunity to cool and extinguish. The fire could be anywhere in the building. Find it and extinguish it. Austen, are you ready?
Ready as I'll ever be. Fire's above.
I'm not gonna lie, putting out my first fire was exhilarating.
Extinguish. All right, ready?
But in reality, a fire is rarely contained in just one small area, and firefighters are sometimes on site for hours.
Extinguish.
Not just fighting fires, but also searching for and rescuing victims while navigating dangerous terrains.
Extinguish.
Austen, you were successful in your challenge.
Thank you.
The holy grail of the fire service is a fire attack with a victim inside the structure.
So it gets tougher than this? If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, it's free. I just want to remind you, click the subscribe button, join the crew.
Acrophobia, the fear of heights. You're gonna climb 110 feet in the air at a 70-degree angle. You're gonna make it up to the top. You're gonna radio me that you have completed the task.
Copy. We're gonna see if I can do it without flipping out. And if I start flailing my arms, I need you to come save me.
You're all on your own.
I'm on my own? All right. What's up?
You ready?
Okay, I can do this.
You got it.
All right, I'm gonna climb. When in doubt, climb it out. All right, 110 feet. Let's go. Every rung is a foot, so we got 100-something rungs. My goal is to not fall. All right, I'm proving I'm not scared of heights.
If you're afraid of heights, too bad, but you're not alone. There is hope. Leave a comment below so we can all comfort each other in the comment section.
Unfortunately, if you have a fear of heights, firefighting might not be for you. There are buildings that are large. We have to get on top of them. We have to get to where the fire is at, where victims are at. We have to be able to work in many different areas.
Don't look down. Just look straight. Wow. We're almost there though, baby.
As I got closer to the top, the ladder rapidly became more narrow, to the point where I could barely squeeze through.
The most rewarding aspect of this job is truly just being able to help other people. For me, one of the most meaningful emergencies I've been on was a person who was trapped in a palm tree, and he was about 80 feet up in the air, and the palm tree had collapsed on him, and the weight of the entire palm tree skirt was on his body, bending him backwards, and that was about 700 pounds. And at the same time, he was being stung by scorpions that were inside the palm tree, and we were able to use a ladder like Austen climbed, and we were able to rescue him. Being able to help somebody on their worst day is the greatest thing that you could do in life.
Sorry, I forgot about comms. Yes, I'm clipped in.
All right, I copy. You're clipped in. You've reached the top of the aerial.
Descending now.
Copy. You're on your way down.
Ah, man, I need to pee again.
Austen, this is Intro to Extrication. We respond to a lot of motor vehicle accidents throughout the city. This is Captain Parker. He's going to be your instructor
Nice to meet you,
for
Captain.
today.
Nice to meet you, buddy.
We have a vehicle that's severely damaged. We have a patient trapped inside. As soon as we can, we need to get that patient out of the vehicle so we can give him medical aid and get him to the hospital. This is one of the most dangerous calls we have because you're operating in traffic. You've got drivers around you that are distracted. They're trying to look at the car. They're looking at police lights, fire trucks. You've got gasoline that's involved, so you've got flammable liquids. You've got lots of potential dangers that you're gonna have to be aware of while you try to get this patient out.
That's a lot to remember.
When you're dealing with extracting someone from a car, the last thing we want is for the car to start moving. So we need to lower the car on some chocks to keep it steady by popping the tire.
We want to make sure that we are in control of the glass when it breaks. And we're going to take our Halligan and we're going to strike it right here. If you hit it here, you have the potential of going inside the cab. So we're going to catch it here so that it will only go in a few inches.
So I'm gonna hit right here?
Yes, sir.
Even though the window is broken and we have access to the patient, we can't remove them yet. If they have a spinal cord injury, we could cause additional harm. So we need to get the door open before we can remove them.
So we're in a position where we can take our jaws of light and start taking this door off.
Oh, wow. That thing is crazy. You look how strong that is.
Stick it right up above that hinge. There you go. Let the tool do the work because you're going to get tired really quick.
Look at that.
Just keep on going. It's going to pop.
In real life, time is of the essence. It's as fast as we can move these tools to get our patient out.
I think you got it. There we go.
There it is. Now we remove the victim.
You hold his head in place. I'm gonna move his shoulders this way. Okay, let's regroup and let's take him on out. You successfully used the tools, listened to your captain, you're able to remove the patient, now we can get him to the hospital. Austen, this is fire ground survival. This is how you can save yourself in case of an emergency. Today you're going to be instructed by Firefighter Schillens and Firefighter Ebright.
Nice to meet y'all.
Women can definitely do the job. With the right heart and determination, they can 100% be successful in this career.
After quickly going over different ways of squeezing through the holes, which I did first try,
Ain't no way.
No way?
Ain't no way.
I was ready to take on the full course.
Mayday, mayday, mayday.
Firefighter with your mayday, go ahead.
This is Firefighter Alexander off Engine 1. I'm off the line, last known location, second floor, south side, attempting to grab lives.
Command copies. Firefighter Alexander, Engine 1, off the line.
I quickly found my way to the first obstacle, a wall I would need to bust through to continue following the hose line. And let me tell you, it was not easy squeezing a big guy like me through that tiny gap. Did I mention I have to do this whole thing blindfolded?
So Austen is coming up on...
I'll tell you. Never mind, this is not a...
Good. He's identified that's not a coupling. There are some hoses that have arrows on them, but realistically, we identify couplings. He would have read this coupling or the next one coming up. They're every 50 feet, and he can read with his gloved hand, smooth here, bump, bump, to the pump, which is the truck. One of our master instructors for fireground survival was actually caught in a situation where he responded to a house fire, and the scenario happened where a garage door failed. So it changed the flow path of the fire, which means that it got oxygen from another source, and it pushed heat and smoke right in his direction. And he was not able to exit the structure the way he came in, and he actually had to bail out of a window from a second story. And he had to do that with a fellow firefighter who unfortunately did not make it out of that fire. And he teaches with us today. He's come down to this academy grounds particularly to talk to our recruits about his scenario with fireground survival. And now he's alive today because of these skills. He's come up on a coupling that he's going to read real quick to ensure that he's still going in the right direction.
Smooth, bump, bump to the front.
After I barely squeezed myself through the last gap, I had to now squeeze through an even smaller opening. But on the bright side, being blindfolded wasn't all that bad. Okay, well, so maybe it was really difficult. And to make matters worse, the sound of my air bottle being low was going off. Normally, a firefighter might have a third of their air left to exit in an emergency, and I've already used almost all of mine, and I still have the final obstacle to go.
Go ahead and stand up. You've made it out of the building.
Life safety is the most important thing in the fire service. Our final step is going to be search and rescue, finding a victim, and removing them from a burning building. Most victims are going to be found in bedrooms or close to exits of the building. We go on a lot of fires in the middle of the night. People are sleeping. They might not even know their house is on fire.
When searching for a victim, it's best to stay low to the ground because people won't be floating in the air. They'll most likely be on the floor or furniture.
We found the entrance of the doorway, hook a foot.
Yep.
Go forward.
Good.
Sweep.
Good.
Sweep.
And call out.
No victim?
No, fire department.
Oh, fire department.
Maybe someone says, help, I'm right here.
Fire department.
Good. You don't hear anything, but you see that there's a bed right over here because you're nice and low. And I would start sweeping that bed.
Are you okay? Victim, victim, victim.
Victim heard. So traditionally, everybody thinks this is the fireman's carry. If I carry them like this, their airway's too high up. They're exposed to smoke and heat. So this is not the fireman's carry. A fireman's carry is anything that keeps the patient as low to the ground as possible and fastly gets them out the door. You know everything you need to complete the final challenge of a working fire. There's only one thing left to show you, forcible entry.
I like the way that sounds.
Austen, to put the fire out, we got to be able to get to the fire. Firefighter Abraham is going to teach you forcible entry.
We'll always try before we pry. That's first thing. If we can open it without creating any more damage, that's what we're going to do. But if we can't do that, it's time to break some stuff, all right?
We got to check to see if the door is actually jammed. Feels pretty jammed to me. I'm going to put it right here.
You're just going to push down far back on the tool. So you hear that, right? You hear that you're working. Push down. There you go. You get some space.
There it is. Can I try to kick it and break it?
You can. There it is.
That kind of hurt.
Austen, this completes your training. Are you ready for the final challenge?
I'm ready.
Real heat, real smoke, a real building with victims inside.
911, what's your emergency?
3-1 apartment fire, engine 96, engine 97, engine 98, ladder 99, battalion 3, 3-1 apartment fire, channel 5, lower Buckeye Road.
I know I said I'm ready, but I just went through 6 months of training in 2 days. I'm not 100% sure I'll be able to remember everything, which isn't good, because I'm facing real fire. One wrong move, and that could be it.
Engine 96, you're clear to go.
Level 1 fire on the first floor.
Ready to mask up.
96 will be laying at the fire line, taking the hat line to the first floor.
Some copy of reports of victims. We'll get you the balance of the first floor.
It was time to prove to my instructors that I'd been paying attention.
I'm clicking in.
The information on deck, be advised we might have victims inside.
Hearing that there could be a victim trapped inside this building and seeing all the fire and smoke coming out of it, it was like this was a real 911 emergency and someone's life was on the line.
Victim, victim, victim! You've got medium smoke, high heat, we found one victim, we're bringing the patient out the front door.
Some copy, yeah, medium heat, high smoke, one victim out the front door. 98 to command, we'll take 3.
Being a firefighter is the greatest job there is.
There's a fire!
My kids have gotten to see their dad be a servant to the community. I take a lot of pride in that. So my son got to come to work with me. He got to cut up a car. He got to do everything that a little boy shouldn't be doing, but he got to do it with a dad, which is my coolest memory.
Inspector, go ahead. Copy, you've got water on the fire, vertical ventilation coming.
Ventilating.
My teammates, fellow firefighters, are some of my best friends. They pick me up if I'm having a bad day, and I do the same thing for them.
Ventilation is complete. We've got light smoke coming out of the hole.
It's like having brothers. The relationships that you find in the firehouse and in this organization are second to none. And it gets to be coupled with a career, which is just so unique and incredible.
When I get that call, I don't think about the danger that I'm running to. I think, wow, I get to save another life today. Congratulations, Austen. You completed the challenge.
Thank you so much, Captain Moreland. And thank you guys for watching. If you love this video, you're gonna love this video right here.
Austen Alexander, Captain Moreland. See you next stop.